Lena had always been drawn to antique stores, fascinated by the history of old objects. On a rainy afternoon, she wandered into a dimly lit shop filled with forgotten treasures, rusty clocks, dusty books, and faded paintings with cracked frames. But one item immediately caught her eye. A large, ornate mirror leaned against the far wall. Its frame was carved from dark wood, decorated with twisting, serpent-like patterns. The glass had an odd shimmer, like something moved beneath the surface. "How much for the mirror?" Lena asked the old shopkeeper. The woman's face twitched. "That mirror, it's not for sale." Lena frowned. "Then why is it here?" The shopkeeper hesitated, glancing at the mirror. "It's old, not meant to be owned." Lena felt a strange pull toward it. "I'll pay double." A long silence. Then, with a sigh, the shopkeeper muttered, "Fine, but don't say I didn't warn you." As she helped load the mirror into her car, the woman whispered something under her breath. It almost sounded like a prayer. Lena placed the mirror in her bedroom, opposite her bed. It suited the space perfectly. But that night, as she lay under the covers, a strange feeling crept over her, a heaviness. She turned over and, without thinking, glanced at the mirror. Her reflection was still standing up. Lena's breath caught in her throat. She was lying in bed, but her reflection stood, watching her. Her heart hammered. She blinked. The reflection was normal again. Just her mind playing tricks, she told herself. Sleep deprivation. That's all. She turned away from the mirror and shut her eyes. But as she drifted off, she swore she heard a faint tap on the glass. Over the next few days, things got worse. The mirror's surface would ripple, like water disturbed by an unseen force. At night, she heard whispering, soft, broken words, spoken in a language she didn't understand. And then, on the third night, she woke up to something cold brushing against her face. She gasped, sitting up. Her room was empty. But in the mirror, a woman stood behind her. She was pale, dressed in a tattered black gown, her long hair covering most of her face. Her eyes, sunken and hollow, were locked onto Lena. Lena whipped around. Nothing was there. She turned back to the mirror. The woman was smiling. Panicked, Lena covered the mirror with a bedsheet, but the whispering didn't stop. That night, she dreamed of the woman in black. "You let me in," the woman whispered in her mind. "Now, you must take my place." Lena woke up drenched in sweat. The mirror was uncovered, and the woman in black was now standing in her reflection, smiling, reaching out. Before Lena could move, the woman grabbed her wrist. A force pulled her forward, into the glass. She screamed, but her voice was swallowed by an unnatural silence. Everything went black. The next day, an old antique shop received a new item. A large, ornate mirror, its surface faintly shimmering. Inside the glass, a pair of terrified eyes stared out, mouth open, screaming, waiting for someone new to take her place.